Hello, welcome to Dungeoneers Pack, a channel bringing you player-focused discussions and character guides for 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons. My name is Josh, thank you for watching. Tasha's Cauldron of Everything is now in our hands and is bringing us a variety of options to further customize our characters. One of the most talked about options were the race variant rules. In this video, I'm going to go over the Origin and Lineage Race variant rules, follow up on discussion from my original video on the Origin rules, and provide my opinion on both variant rules. Before we get started, an easy way to support this channel is to like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that notification bell to know when new videos are up. You can also support us directly at our Patreon by becoming a Dungeoneer. When you become a Dungeoneer, you get access to an exclusive role and a private chat in Discord, access to all the character build scripts, and you will be able to listen to an audio-only version of each week's video before it goes up. You can find a link to the Patreon in the description below. With that said, let's get started. With the release of Tasha's, the community-dubbed lineage system is officially named the Origin variant rule. The Origin variant rule works exactly the same as it was previewed in the Adventures League Season 10 document. I had previously covered this in my lineage system video, but I will go over it again and address the conversation that was brought up in the previous video. You can check out my original video that goes over my initial thoughts in a link in the description below. The intent of the Origin variant rule is to provide greater customization when determining your character's race. The Origin rule allows for the following modifications. You can swap the ability score increases granted by your race and subrace to ability scores of your choice, but the increases cannot be applied to the same ability score and cannot increase the score above 20. Language proficiencies from your chosen race can be changed to one of the following instead: Abyssal, Celestial, Common, Deep Speech, Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giant, Gnomish, Goblin, Halfling, Infernal, Orc, Primordial, Sylvan, or Undercommon. Skill, armor, weapon, and tool proficiencies can be swapped with the proficiency with an equal or lesser value. A skill can be swapped for another skill. An armor proficiency can be swapped with a simple or martial weapon or a tool. A martial weapon can be swapped with another martial weapon, a simple weapon, or a tool. And simple weapon and tool proficiencies are interchangeable. Being able to swap out our ability score increases and other proficiencies provided by our race is another step at being able to craft the character we envision. I want to reiterate the points I made for the Origin rule from the previous video, as I feel they still remain true. The Origin rule promotes character build diversity, allowing players to pair races and classes without feeling they are penalized for it. Ability scores and proficiencies are no longer tied to your race and are now tied to your character's life experiences. The Origin rule does not remove the flavor of the race, as other racial traits should provide or support the intended flavor. Some races become quote-unquote better because they have more proficiencies that make up their archetypical identity that can be swapped around with this rule. I believe the flavor of sub-races become weaker under this system because of how their design is tied to the ability score increases. My points stirred up conversation, with the majority of the discussion focusing on diversity. Some of you said that this variant rule does not promote character build diversity because it homogenizes the races. I wholeheartedly disagree. Beyond the numbers, ability scores were intended to reflect how the archetypical member of the race is represented in the game world, but players often overlook the non-ability score racial traits. At the same time, this does not remove the original ability scores printed in the player's handbook. The Origin variant rule works alongside the original implementation of the races in the game, allowing players the option of making a character that better reflects their idea. Many of you disagreed with my point that the flavor of subraces are weakened with this variant rule. Looking back, I don't think I was clear enough in stating my point, but my belief is that the variant rule reveals an issue with the subrace design, as the subrace's flavor is tied to the ability scores. My hope is that Wizards improves upon the other racial traits, providing more flavorful or impactful options that better represent the intended flavor. Based on some of the more recent subrace editions, it appears they're going in this direction. Tasha's also brings another variant rule that is intended to provide a framework to make custom races. This is the Lineage variant rule. The Lineage variant rule functions identical to the variant human option in the player's handbook with some minor changes. The race we intend to be or create has the humanoid creature type. The race's appearance is determined by the player and the DM. For the race's size, we have the choice between small or medium. We also have a walking speed of 30 feet. Differentiating itself from the variant human, a race made with the lineage rules adds 2 to any ability score of our choice. Just like the variant human, this race gets access to a feat of our choice. We also gain access to a variable trait that has us choose between the standard 60-foot dark vision or proficiency in a skill. And at last, we gain 2 languages, with one being common and another of our choice. What I like about the lineage rules is that it provides a framework for DMs to develop a new race for their setting, or to collaborate with their players to create a race or a variation of a race to use in their games. The collaborative storytelling element of tabletop RPGs is so special, and anything that encourages that is a boon in my book. But I do have an issue with the lineage rule. Looking at the implementation of the mechanics, Tasha's gives us a singular option instead of providing players and DMs a system with resources. Every character created using this rule is just a reskin variant human. Our major decisions when building a character with this rule comes down to which feat we will take and if we want dark vision or skill proficiency. That's it. Comparing the lineage rules to the Origin rules, I feel the Origin rules do a better job of providing flexibility of choice while still retaining some flavor of the race through the racial trait mechanics. What I would have liked to have seen is an expansive Origin customization system that provides a variety of trait options we can pick in place of proficiencies or other racial traits. These trait options are mechanics that provide flavor that could range from generic traits to traits that are more specific to a setting. The big selling point of Tasha's is to provide greater customization for building characters, and both the Origin and Lineage rules achieve this. It does it in a very simple, straightforward fashion. For DMs and players looking for a crunchier system, they may be disappointed, and I do not find these variant rules bad. In fact, I actually really like them, but I would have liked an expansive customization system. Taking a step back, the execution of the Origin and Lineage rules are in line with the design philosophy of 5th edition. They codify actions groups were already doing at the table in an effortless manner. The variant rules are there to provide players on each side of the DM screen tools to bring characters to life. With that said, I want to hear from you. What do you think of the Origin and Lineage rules? If you want to see more content like this, let me know down in the comments section. You can also catch me at the Dungeoneers Pack Discord. A link to the Discord can be found in the description below. Alright, I'm out of here. Have a good one.